Welcome back. We got a speech here from Pierre Poilievre talking about housing. Housing is obviously the biggest issue here in Canada. It's off the charts. It's it's crazy. Like, you got people renting out bedrooms. You got people renting out half of queen beds for like $900 a month in Toronto. That's right, half of a queen bed. That's how bad things have gotten. $3,500 a month is average mortgage payment now, and it used to be $1,400. I remember I used to have a loft in downtown Vancouver where I had a mortgage payment of $1,450 a month. That was 20-foot ceilings. It wasn't that big, but it was like an 800 square foot loft, something like that. No, it was 900 square foot, something like that. It was a nice place, not in the greatest area of town, but let me tell you, the days of buying a loft like that, I think it was about $450,000 a year. So yeah, that's probably about $900,000 now, and things are out of control. So let's check this out.
This Christmas will not be very merry at all. After 8 years of Justin Trudeau, people wonder how they'll put food on the table. Our children write Santa Claus letters asking not for toys or vacations, but just for snow boots and food for their families. Parents stay up late at night, worried how they will keep their homes, after rent prices are rising for the first time in Canadian recorded history faster than wages. That has never happened before. The cost of the average mortgage has more than doubled. The cost of a needed down payment for a new home doubled.
It's like 2.5 now.
Has doubled. The last 2 months have been the fastest recorded increases in rent in Canadian history.
It's bonkers,
Yesterday,
man.
Justin Trudeau's own housing agency was asked if the government has a plan to close the 3.5 million home gap in our housing supply, and they answered no.
So something to note about that too. So he just said the number 3.5 million houses is what we're short. Now, if you think about what the Trudeau government's doing right now, they're bringing in 500,000 immigrants every year, and they have that plan for this year, 2023, till the end. We're almost done. Then 2024, 25, and 26. They think they're still going to be in power. No. But anyways, 500,000 for each year. Plus, what was it, 500,000 last year and 1 million before that? So we brought in a lot of people. But the problem is we never built houses we're probably not even building enough houses for Canadians, let alone the immigrants coming in. And that's where that 3.5 million deficit of homes is. So if you think about this too, so I used to run a notary office with my ex-wife in Vancouver. I used to be in the back of the office. It was basically my ex-wife is Chinese. She spoke Mandarin, Cantonese, and English. I did all the numbers and the accounting and running all the checks to the bank and all that kind of stuff. So we did about like $10 to $12 million a month of real estate in and out of the business. We would get a lot of foreign buyers, mostly foreign buyers, almost all. It was probably like 90-something%. You'd get guys from Shanghai coming in, buying 3 or 4 houses, Beijing, 3 or 4, 5, 6 houses in a weekend and going back. And it was a disgrace that was allowed. Now they put in a temporary pause. So think about that. We have a deficit of 3.5 million houses that we need to even just get to zero. We're bringing in 500,000 people every year, and we have this temporary pause, which is only 2 years. So that 2 years began like, I don't know, a year ago or so. And that temporary pause is only in major metropolitan areas. It's not in other areas. So I think, pretty sure that Chinese buyers can go and buy businesses and farms and that kind of stuff. And that's the last people. We don't want foreign buyers buying up our farmland. Like, what kind of crap is that? We should have a 100% ban on foreign buying. Like, why do we need that? We don't. I can't go to China and buy land. Why can, it should be reflected of the country. Like, for example, I'm sorry, we'll get back to the video here in a second. If you go to Thailand, I could go there and buy a condo, but you can't buy anything with land. You can't buy a house. I can buy a condo only in a building that has less than 50% Thai people owning in that building. So it has to be predominantly owned Thai building, at least 50%. So there should be rules, and that's how Canada should operate. We should only offer what that country offers to us. So we should offer that to Thailand, and in China, I can't buy land, so they shouldn't buy land here. It should just be reciprocated. I think that's fair, or it's just 100% ban. We don't need foreign, people buying up our stuff. But anyways, that foreign buying is going to come to unless they extend it, it's going to come to an end soon, and you'll have more, rich Beijing buyers coming in, buying all the houses again, with 500,000 people coming in every year, which are rich immigrants and we've got a deficit of houses. It's not a good situation.
This was not an opposition MP accusing the government of not having a plan. This was Justin Trudeau's own housing agency after 8 years, as though he hasn't had time to come up with a plan. So far, his only plan has been to massively inflate the cost of housing with relentless and irresponsible money printing that floods our financial systems, profits the big corporations, and doubles housing costs, while he inflates the bureaucracy that block home building. He's since come up with a housing accelerator plan, $4 billion, and where's the money going? To build more local bureaucracies to block more homes. And while Canadians can't afford their rent or even dream of buying a home, now they worry they won't be able to feed their families at all.
So if you think about the housing situation in Canada, think of it as like a big skyscraper, and at the top you got all the millionaires and multi-hundred million, 200-300 millionaires like at the top. And what Canada does is we bring in all the immigrants that have lots of money because we don't want to burden our system with really poor immigrants. So that's how they operate it. And so they bring in people with a lot of money. Most of them right now, I think, are coming from India and China. And so these people come in and they actually go in kind of somewhere in the middle of the tower or towards the top because they have lots of money. So you think about that, they're the ones buying those houses for whatever, $800-900 million, $800,000, whatever. Most Canadians don't have, aren't able to get mortgages for $900,000 unless you're in the tech industry and you're making really good money. So what that does is then the people who are up there who have those houses that they bought when they're $200,000, and they're struggling with their mortgage payments because now they're $5,000-6,000 a month, they sell that house and they buy something cheaper. And those people who had the cheaper houses, they're selling their house and buying something cheaper, or they're moving to renting because they can't afford their mortgage anymore. And now those people who are moving to rent those houses at the bottom, who used to own a house, they're often going into a house that was a reno eviction. People getting pushed out and they're like, oh, we need to renovate. And then what they do is they take the $1,000 a month rental and they're turning it into a $2,000 or $2,500 a month rental. That now the person who used to own a house is now renting that. And then those people, they're getting pushed out onto the street. That's how our system is working in Canada. And those people either have a choice to sleep in a tent, or it's, it's the plumbers, the doctors. I've seen there are some doctors, the plumbers, like mechanics, nurses, people with good jobs, obviously not doctor level. Usually I did see there was a doctor who was sleeping in his vehicle. But people are making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year sleeping in their vehicle because they can't afford to rent or buy anything, and it's just ridiculous. And people are making less than that, 20, 30, 40K, are sleeping in tents now. This is the Canada we have now. It's disgraceful.
Justin Trudeau has presided over the doubling of food bank use in Toronto. Nationwide, 2 million visits, a record-smashing number of people lined up in 1 month to go to food banks. In our major cities, these lineups go block after block. If the imagery were put in black and white, you would assume it was historical reels from the Great Depression. Canadians are seeing a resurgence of things like scurvy, diseases that had been defeated. Why? Because Canadians have downgraded their diets.
I can comment on this. So I had a YouTube channel that had 250,000 subscribers, and it got deleted by YouTube because it was hacked by a Russian hacker. Long story, I have a video of this on my other channel. I'd Rather Be Hiking is my other channel if you want to look that up. But the hacker rebranded my channel to look like a cryptocurrency Ripple and tried to scam people, and YouTube didn't like. There was a legal complaint on it, deleted my livelihood. And I've been 3 months now, I've been left with like almost nothing. I built that over 8 years. And so what does it have to do with what he just said? Well, I can't buy produce. It's too expensive. So a few tips for anyone out there. If you really are struggling, there's a guy who did the potato diet. He lived only on potatoes for a year and his numbers were totally fine. So sometimes Walmart has potatoes really cheap. I've noticed like you get a big bag for $3. So you can really just live on potatoes. And then bananas. Bananas have a international price fix. So they're not gouged on price. You can always go and buy bananas for like 69 cents a pound. So between bananas and potatoes, you get most of your nutrients. But I have noticed I've gone a little crazy because I don't have like the citrus, the oranges and apples and that kind of stuff. Another little tip, if you go to Walmart, that's where it is around here. I know on the on the East Coast you guys have different things, but at least in my Walmart, check your grocery stores. There'll be bags that are like discount produce often. And Walmart, they put in like all their fresh produce into these $1 or $2 bags, and they put them on a rack on the side just to get rid of them when a new shipment comes in. So often those are not bad. It's just they need to get them out of there. The only ones that are bad usually are the avocados. They're just always overripe. But when there's oranges on there, I buy all of them. I stick them in a freezer, and then I just slowly bring them out. And that's how I'm kind of getting my fix and fending off the scurvy. So hopefully that gives you a few tips to help you guys out.
They pay more for smaller and smaller portions that they buy at their grocery stores.
Canned foods like that.
There are now 30 homeless encampments in Halifax alone. We never would have imagined these homeless encampments, and they're increasingly filled with people who have jobs. We have nurses who live in vans and carpenters who live in parking lots. That is the Christmas that Justin Trudeau has brought us after 8 years. And what is his plan now? His solution? To quadruple the carbon tax. Not just on the gas that you put in your car or the heat that warms your home, but on the farmers and the truckers who bring us our food. Yesterday, after manipulation and intimidation by Justin Trudeau, Liberal senators voted to gut a common sense conservative bill that would have taken the tax off of our farmers.
It's disgraceful, man. Disgraceful.
Just in time for Christmas, Justin Trudeau has ensured that your turkey dinner will have a big, fat, growing carbon tax caked on top of it. That is not part of the recipe for turkey dinner that Canadians were looking for.
Yeah, it's disgraceful,
but yet,
man.
late yesterday, there were those Liberal senators who had received personal calls from Justin Trudeau, intimidating calls from a prime minister who claimed that he would respect the independence of the Senate.
I have another video where one of these conservative ministers was calling him a liar because he's been in the House of Commons. He got thrown out. You can check out that one. But basically, the farmers he's been talking to a lot of these farmers, and they say their carbon tax is through the roof. And, you know, it often makes up a huge portion of it. Like just my last gas bill, like I think it was $60 in just gas, and the $60 was $40 of that was carbon tax. And that was 2 months ago. So my last one here, which I'm getting soon, is like $110. And it's not even that cold here. I'm on Vancouver Island, so I feel bad for a lot of you who are basically anywhere else in Canada, because I live in the warmest place on Canada here. But once we get into January and February, it's going to get really cold here, kind of like the rest of you guys. And it's just carbon tax is going to kill us.
Has now stepped in to make sure not only that Canadians continue to pay the tax, but that it goes higher and higher still. Well, I've got news for Justin Trudeau. You've ruined Christmas for Canadians. Common sense conservatives are going to ruin your vacation as well. We are going to put in thousands of amendments at committee and in the House of Commons, forcing all-night, round-the-clock voting to block your $20 billion of inflationary spending and the rest of your economically destructive plans until you agree to our demand to take the tax off farmers, First Nations, and families. You will have no rest until the tax is gone.
Yeah. There we go, Pierre. Somebody fighting for us for once. Who doesn't give a damn about us? Just off in these Tofino vacations, silk jammies, surfing all day, lavish meals, $1,000 plates, living it up like a Babylonian king.
Mr. Trudeau, you're going to have to come to terms with something. Over the Christmas period, whether through a walk in the snow or while you're sitting next to a warm fire, think about this reality. There will be a carbon tax election.
There will be.
I will win the carbon tax election, and whether you like it or not, I will axe the tax.
There it is, folks. There it is. That's it, folks. Vote for Pierre Poilievre. We have to basically kind of stick it out and survive until the election. It's dark times. I don't know what else to say here. I'm glad they're trying to do their best. It's, you know, they've only got so much power to do stuff. We really need a reform in the government where we have new laws in place where if we get a really crooked, corrupt prime minister, then the people can somehow put in, like the petition. There's a petition going around to kind of dethrone Trudeau. And if something like that happens, it actually does. It's not a matter of, because right now they don't actually have to do anything to that. They have to respond in some manner. But we need a thing where it's like we can actually get rid of a prime minister. We need some sort of power like that, because this is out of control. We have one man just driving this country into the ground. Meanwhile, his net worth has gone from like, what, 9 million years ago, a couple of years ago, to I think the last account I've seen online is 128 million. Despite his salary only being like 400K a year. That math doesn't add up. So anyways, I don't know. It's we just got to keep fighting it out, guys. Hopefully you guys stay warm, stay fed. I'll see you on the next one.